Almost everybody knows what a call and response cheer is. If you've ever been to a football game or a basketball game, you know the cheerleaders will get out there and they'll edge the crowd on by going, give me an F, give me an I, give me a G, give me an H, give me a T. What's that spell? Fight. What's that spell? Fight. Well, you know, you get the idea. Well, this episode, we're going to talk about a band that has recorded one of the most infamous call and response cheers ever put on record. You ready to shout it out? Okay, let's first drop the needle. The band with the infamous call and response cheer is Country Joe and the Fish. Now, they started out in 1965 with Country Joe McDonald playing acoustic guitar and vocals and Barry the Fish Melton playing guitar, lead guitar, and vocals. They were an acoustic duo. And in that year, they recorded an acoustic song, which was called I Feel Like I'm Fixing to Die. And the opening had a call and response cheer on it, which they dubbed the Fish Cheer. And they would start by standing in front of an audience and saying, give me an F, give me an I, give me an S, give me an H, what's that spell? Fish, what's that spell? Fish, and so on. That was recorded the first time, as I said, in 1965. After hearing Bob Dylan's Highway 61 revisited and starting to experiment with drugs, the band decided to go electric. 1 year after forming, in 1965, 1966 finds Country Joe McDonald and the Fish getting a recording contract with Vanguard Records. And the next year, in 1967, they released their first album, Electric Music for the Mind and Body. The album contains songs of protest, drug use, and free love. It was recorded live with some of the vocals overdubbed later, and it was a hit, coming in at number 39 on the charts. From the album, Not So Sweet Martha Lorraine became a hit single, and in fact, is the only Country Joe and the Fish hit single ever recorded. Superbird was a controversial song as well. Why? Because it mocked then-President Lyndon Johnson. The record label was afraid that the record would be banned because of this. But hey, this is 1967. This is underground radio, and gosh, the radio stations played the heck out of Country Joe and the Fish. Country Joe and the Fish continued their popularity by appearing at the Monterey Pop Festival. In 1967, they returned to the studio to record their second album, the infamous I Feel Like I'm Fixing to Die. But at this time, the song became electric, and it incorporated the Fish Cheer at the beginning of the song. Around this time, Hirsch, who was the drummer, suggested that they change the Fish Cheer so they could leave the give me an F, but change the ISH to UCK. So the Fish Cheer became the F Cheer, and concerts and underground radio loved it. And the F Cheer received its most notoriety when Country Joe sang it at the Woodstock Festival in 1969. Their third album, Together, was their most successful, and it charted at number 23. By the time 1969 was ending, the band was already beginning to break up. Only the two originals remained, Country Joe and Barry Fish Melton. And their fourth album was called Here We Are Again. The album charted at number 48. In 1969, Country Joe McDonald left San Francisco and arrived in Nashville to record his first solo album, which was a departure from what he had done previously, in that this album was called Thinking of Woody Guthrie. Instead of psychedelic noodling and political posturing, this album contains covers of Woody Guthrie songs, and they're quite good. Standout tracks are Pastures of Plenty, So Long It's Been Good to Know You, Tom Joad, and This Land Is Your Land. The story is that entire album was recorded in a single day, and so they had leftover studio time and money, so they started work on Country Joe's second solo album. Released in 1970, the album is Tonight I'm Singing Just For You, and it contains cover songs of country hits such as Ring of Fire, Heartaches by the Number, and 6 Days on the Road. Meanwhile, in 1970, Country Joe and the Fish appeared in the film Zachariah, and they released their fifth album, C.J. Fish, but their heart wasn't in it. It only reached 111 on the charts, and the band disbanded. Joe continued his solo career with his next album, War, War, War. The lyrics were from Robert W. Service, known for his writings about the Yukon. Country Joe plays all the instruments, and the album charted at 185. Next up is Incredible Live, Country Joe. Yep, this is a live album where Joe sings Sweet Marie, Tricky Dicky from Your Belinda, Fly So High, and I'm on the Road Again. Not great, but a fun album. Next up is another controversial album, but hey, this is Country Joe. It's called Paris Sessions, and it's been described as a feminist album, which is interesting because Country Joe wrote all the songs. However, the band is mostly female. Country Joe McDonald went on to record a total of 36 albums. Most of them are out of print and very hard to find. And then he even returned with the Fish for a reunion album called Reunion in 1977. It contains all the original members and reprises their only hit, Not So Sweet Martha Lorraine. After the Fish broke up, Barry the Fish Melton continued to perform for a little while, but then changed dramatically and became a public defender in the state of California. In the meantime, Country Joe McDonald continues to perform, and in 2017 released an album called 50, marking his 50 years in the business. Okay, so here we go. Give me an F, give me an I, give me an S, give me an H. What's that spell? What's that spell? Fish. Country Joe and the Fish. If you want to relive those psychedelic times and then watch as Joe moves from that into country, check these albums out. You'll have a great time and you'll keep a rockin'. If you liked this episode, hit the like button, and you can also leave me a comment down below and I'll respond to you. If you subscribe, we'll let you know when future episodes come out. Most of the albums that I talk about can be found at your local vinyl store or on eBay. Individual songs most likely are on Spotify, Apple Music, or Amazon Music, or even some on YouTube.